Don't mind the crinkled paper, but I'm going to share with you what I know the government has done to you. You may not know it, but that's why I'm sharing it with you, is because you need to know that the government has violated your rights in many, and multiple times as well as ways. Okay, so medical malpractice, number one, negligence, abuse of power. Okay, that's when, say, the court tells you that you have to go for a mental evaluation or whatever. Okay, they can misdiagnose you. Failure to document patient information. That means when they lie on reports, they make up stories. Okay, it's not accurate. Failure to provide proper medications. They give you these psych medications that make you go totally fucking stupid. Don't know what you're doing. You can get really sick from them. Some people overdose on them. Okay, they're strong enough and powerful enough that people actually make money off them on the streets, right? Political abuse of psychiatry. All right, that's punitive damages. That's when they diagnose you as being mentally disturbed, emotionally disturbed, and put you on medications, right? They detain you. They treat you wrongfully, okay? They abuse you with medications and some kind of restraints, perhaps, all right? Some people get shock treated. Obstruction of human rights of individuals, groups in society, okay? That's what the government, these hospitals, and everybody is upset that they're getting closed down. Well, you really shouldn't be. You probably ought to see it as a blessing because you're not going to get those poisonous medications anymore, okay, that are really destroying people. Abuse, intentional, improper application of knowledge about patients. That's when they lie on reports, the nurses and such. Skills and technology of psychiatry for no purpose other than severing patients' interest to harm in diverse ways people who do not warrant psychiatric status at the first instance. Well, let me give you an example of that. When you get a charge and they know that the charge is false, the judge perhaps may order you to go for a psych evaluation per order of the prosecutor. Just for instance, let me tell you about Guildhall, Vermont, Essex County, Vermont, Northeast Kingdom. Vincent Aluzzi, the prosecutor, is very well known for violating people's rights like that. In fact, he tried it with me anyway. And I know many others that he tried it with and he succeeded with, and they got locked up in psych wards, shock treated, and they'll never be the same again. It's called forced psychiatry, involuntary, okay? When they were forced imposition of psychiatry interventions upon an individual by the government, such as the court, against their will, meaning you're a targeted individual. They're trying to silence you. Forces choice made by others upon individuals who are going through crisis represents the government, forcing its interpretation of the person's problems on them, forcibly altering that person's life against their will. Now, making their interpretation of you, defaming you, slandering you, and getting you locked up in a psychiatric ward is a violation of your rights, people. It rips you away choice in what freedoms a person has or what you may want for freedoms, what interpretation of problems they have, having control over what you may have in assistance with these issues, okay? Meaning you're not going to be able to talk to an attorney about your problems. Nobody's going to listen to you because the government has taken control of you. Okay, number two, the violation of human rights, the emotional distress that it causes, mental distress, right to your own body, and it's torture, stripping basic human rights, changing your course of life. Meaning that you may have a home and everything that you like to do. Say you might like to enjoy the snow by going snowmobiling if you have one, or going ATVing if you've got a four-wheeler, okay? And when they do this stuff to you, lock you up and do all this crazy stuff to you, you're not allowed to go do that stuff. So that is stripping you of your basic human rights, okay? Changing your course of life because you're not able to do what you normally would do. Brain functions disabled by the drugs, okay? The massive side effects you use to control, suppress your information, silence you, chemical restraint, deeply inhumane and gross, people. These violations of your human rights and Hippocratic oath, okay? That means that the government is trying to destroy you. They're trying to silence you because they know that you're right, and they don't want to be in trouble for doing the wrong thing and charging you with a crime or saying something like you did something that you didn't do, okay? And it's happening all the time, and people are finally speaking up. Gross, invasive, cruel, and unusual dissemination of the human right to bodily integrity, excessive force, excessively and invasive human human humiliation, okay? It's humiliating you. It's people laughing at you and making fun of you because these people are lying about you and saying that you're something that you're not, okay? And profoundly violent and traumatizing, meaning that they lock you up, they keep you in a room, they feed you by a tray through a door, you've got bars in front of you perhaps, you're getting stuck with needles, they're feeding you medication that you wouldn't normally take, and it's making you feel really strange and getting you sick and making you tired and doing all kinds of things, making you have bad dreams, um, making you say things that you normally wouldn't say. Oh, yeah, it does a lot of stuff that people don't even realize. These are your rights that are being violated, okay? Loss of more rights than high crime criminals in the supermax prison. That's what they're doing. They're taking all your rights away from you. They don't even treat pedophiles like this. I know pedophiles that are out on the streets every day, all day long in Groveton, New Hampshire. I'm just saying that for instance. I do know that for a fact. Biological rape. It's less of right to your own body. It traumatizes your life forever. It crushes your self-esteem, sense of humanity and dignity. Deprivation of liberty and your right to travel. It destroys your dreams, meaning that you want to go somewhere and you can't because you're on these medications and the doctor won't let you go, okay? So, forced to live life of humiliation, fear for the rest of your life, okay? Scars and irreparable medical conditions, such as when they take and do shock treatment, like they put people in psychiatric ward in Rutland, Vermont, transfer them up to Burlington and do shock therapy on them to change their mind, their way of thinking, reverse their thinking, so that instead of telling the truth, they blame it on the opposite, okay? And believe me when I tell you, I've got my own daughter it happened to, okay? And another lady it happened to. This is no fucking story to be made up. You can read about it in the news. Google it, okay? Rutland Hospital, CIA-funded experimental shock therapy, right? They did it on my own daughter. She'll never be the same, and that's a fact. And so that's your scars and irreparable medical conditions, okay? Loss of your rights to be free and informed consent, allowing confinement, compulsory treatment, meaning that they had no business locking you up in the first place because it's a violation of your rights, but they lied to get you locked up, okay? Forced psychiatry is always a human rights abuse. Sometimes it kills people. Unjust drugs administered and forced upon people against their will. That's what they do in jails and in psych wards, okay? And it's all because the government wants to keep you quiet. It's called suppression of information and silencing a victim. Used to strip custody of children. That's what they did to mine and my daughter, okay? Abuse of power is warrantless wiretapping. That's what they did to me again on January 1st when they came up with this such warrant that they didn't even provide, and they had to wait for it to come into the office after they had already detained me and then told me that they were taking my phone, which is a medical device provided for my pacemaker, as well as they didn't want it for what they charged me with, because I can tell you right now I'm not guilty of what they charged me with. So therefore, knowing that I had a Google account that was on there and it got deleted during the time that they've got my cell phone, that means that they didn't like the fact that I have copies of all my lawsuits, the copies of the statements and reports to the police, and right straight to Washington, D.C., okay, about the police. So that's what warranted wiretapping is. NSA tapping calls without warrant in violation of federal statutes and the Constitution and data. But because my husband, William Eugene Asher, has portrayed to be such a big wig, and he's under all these false identifications, and you can Google him through AI Google, William Eugene Asher, each and every state, okay? And you'll find the same information already provided in a different video. He's gotten away with this, and he's still getting away with it, and he lives in Stratford County, and he's working for the police. I believe Homeland Security, or maybe he's the acting chief of police for New Durham under the name of Eric Millar. I don't know. But torture, detention, and kidnapping, that's what it is. They're falsely detaining you, which is kidnapping you, under restraint and under medications, and oh yeah, it goes on, okay? So humanizing conditions, abusive and misconduct. In other words, they don't let you shave. They don't let you brush your teeth when you want to. They don't allow you to have products like shampoo and conditioner and your favorite soap. You can't wear your own clothes. You can't eat foods that you normally would, and you're forced to eat foods that you normally wouldn't. Okay? And then the list goes on and on and on. So, grounds for dismissal: always file a lawsuit under USC 242 1983, violation of due process. Number one, no probable cause. Number two, suppressed evidence insufficient. Okay, they don't have information, but you got a law because they tried to suppress you and how they did it. Lost evidence, mistaken report. Okay, time goes by and they lose evidence or they lose officers or whatever, but they expect that you're going to, so that's why they think your lawsuits aren't going anywhere. And mine were dismissed because my husband, William Eugene Asher, is behind all of that, and I've proven it time and time again. That's why they try to silence me, and like I said, pulled me, arrested me, and took my phone from me January 1st, 2026, okay, in Holderness, New Hampshire. So, missing witnesses, again, people leave town, whatever. Failure to state Miranda rights, okay. If you're not read your rights, well, they're trying to do away with that law, so I don't know what to tell you. You got to fight that one on your own. If they didn't read them, look it up, because it's different from day to day who you are, and there again, you got to stand up for yourself because it's a violation of your other rights. Police, DHS violated rights while investigating cases. Lack of credible witnesses. Right to be free from self-incrimination. It means you have the right to have a witness no matter what the situation is. Right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure, which again, they took my cell phone, and again, it wasn't because they know that I did anything, because if they had properly investigated before making the arrest on January 1st, 2026 in Holderness, New Hampshire, they would have known that I didn't do anything that they charged me with. In fact, they haven't even given me a statement to tell me what I've been charged with as far as the report, okay? They tell me that it was criminal threatening, class B misdemeanor, meaning I don't qualify for an attorney and it's only an offense of a fine. But why'd I get arrested and take my phone if that's the case? All right. And noting that you took my phone and you didn't even have the warrant in hand because you had to come up with a warrant, New Hampshire State Police Troop F, whoever's behind that. And I can tell you right now, I will prove when we go A to Z and back again, it is William Eugene Asher. Okay. A right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure. Oh, yeah, I just told you about that. But along with that, if the cops wanted to keep their jobs, they would properly investigate and find out that William Eugene Asher is my husband, and he's the imposter behind all of this that's continuously stalking me on Facebook, on YouTube, making the comments on my YouTube. He's the only one that stalks me, okay? And people listen to me, but they don't comment, and he's the only one that does. So if you look up the comments on any of my videos, you're going to find all this gotcha 151 bullshit, okay? It leads back to William Eugene Asher. All right, his real DNA is William Eugene Asher. So, right to legal representation during any interrogation. Again, they charge me with Class Bs now because they know that I'm going to win the case. They all get dismissed. They've been dismissed. And this one will be too, because they have no proof of anything, but I've got proof that they've got my cell phone and that my Google account got deleted, and they have no right to delete my Google account. And I can also prove the fact that what else they see on there are the statements that I wrote about them. So, yeah, I'm just saying. Right to cross-examine witnesses against you, right to see evidence against you. So, again, I wasn't provided the information leading to the arrest on January 1st, 2026 in Holderness, New Hampshire, saying that I called in, or I don't know. I mean, a criminal threat. I must, obviously, they're saying I called in something, right? By phone is what it says. So, I don't know. But in the long run, it's coming out. New Hampshire State Police have already been lawsuited by me. There's an appeal going on in a lawsuit case, and there was just a fresh lawsuit filed by me and Sammy Stone against New Hampshire State Police, the state of New Hampshire, the county of Coos, and the town of Stratford, okay? So judge complaints violated judicial code of conduct because he never listened before he ruled, okay? Violated rules of professional conduct again. He didn't listen before he ruled. Committed an offense of moral turpitude, fraud, or breach of trust. Well, we can find that in pretty much every attorney and judge through every state, okay? Committed an offense of moral turpitude, fraud, or breach of trust, been convicted of a felony and should be, okay? Consistently failed to perform judicial duties. Yep, every day, all day long they do. Physical or mental disability that impairs judgment. Well, yeah, after they've seen and heard so many cases, you got to know that they have some kind of mental and emotional disabilities, and therefore they're on some kind of sleeping pills or medications to aid their day. So therefore, they don't qualify to be on the bench. Committed sexual harassment. If you look up the name of each judge and misconduct written about them, you find that most judges have been complained against about that stuff, okay? Used to strip custody of children, yes, because they get paid a percentage and it gets them in higher ranking. Only momentarily, though, because in God's eyes, they're doomed. Used to strip the children that God gave us the right to, okay? Forced to live life of humiliation and fear for life. Yeah, I'm always looking over my shoulder. How about you? Every time I fucking see the cops, and I know it, PTSD, and I have a diagnosis of it. Scars causes irreparable medical damage. I've got a pacemaker. They're fucking with me. A loss of right to free and informed consent, allowing confinement, compulsory treatment for psychiatry, okay? And so the abuse of power is warrantless wiretapping, like I told you before, leads to torture and kidnapping, dehumanizing conditions, putting you in nasty, nasty places. So abuse of discretion is 18 U.S.C. 1503, obstruction of justice. 18 U.S.C. 1512, conspiracy to harassment. 18 U.S.C. 1514 is enjoined action to obstruct justice, deprivation of rights. 18 U.S.C. 241 is conspiracy against your rights, okay? And 18 U.S.C. 371, conspiracy to commit fraud against the government, we the people. So that means if you've been bothered by the police or any officials, sue the fuck out of them because you deserve the monetary status. It will never repair the damages, but it will give you the money to go on with. Thank you.